Lyra sat alone inside the cold radar tower, high above the clouds of her homeworld, Arvona. Her fingers tapped the smooth glass of the control screen, eyes half closed with boredom. For 2 long years she had worked here. Nothing ever happened. No enemy ships, no comets. No interesting signals. Just silence. She sighed. Another quiet shift. Another night of watching empty space. Then something blinked. A red dot. Lyra blinked back at the screen. A red dot was pulsing on the outer edge of their system. Her heart jumped. What is this? She whispered. She leaned closer and tapped on the signal. The scanner zoomed in. It wasn't a regular ship. It wasn't Varnan, not Vescari, not even pirate class. The design. The energy signature. It didn't match anything in the galactic network. Unknown origin, the computer said. Her hands began to shake. Unknown ships were rare, almost impossible. The galaxy was well mapped. Every race, every ship had some record, but this one was different. She opened the ship's image feed. A strange shape appeared on the screen. Black and silver, sharp angles, a glowing blue trail behind it. It looked ancient and powerful. Suddenly, her memory sparked. She had seen this shape before. Not in the files, not in training. In a storybook. When she was little, her mother had told her bedtime stories about a race called humans. Strange, myth-like creatures who once walked the stars. Some said they were demons. Others said they were gods. Most people laughed and said humans were just a story. But here it was, a human ship. Real. No, she whispered. It can't be. She ran a deep scan again. The result came in. Earth-class propulsion core detected. Lyra's eyes widened. Earth-class? Nobody used that name anymore. Only old, forgotten books mentioned the planet called Earth. Her heart pounded in her chest like a war drum. She stared at the signal, frozen. Then she jumped to her feet and tapped the emergency alert button. But nothing happened. She tapped it again, and again. Still nothing. What? She said, confused. The alert system was offline. She checked the communications panel. Her messages were locked. Her access code was denied. Authorization rejected. What is going on? She shouted. She opened a secret backup line and sent a quick message to command. Unknown ship detected. Possibly human. Need help. But the message bounced back. Blocked. Someone didn't want her to report this. She sat down, breathing hard. Her fingers trembled as she looked back at the mysterious ship on the screen. Could it be real? Could humans still be alive out there? She tried to calm herself, but questions filled her mind. Why now? Why here? And most important, was this ship dangerous? She checked the signal's path. The ship wasn't coming toward her station, but it was slowly circling the system. Watching. Observing. Suddenly, a second red dot blinked on the screen. It was a drone, one of their own. But instead of moving toward the unknown ship to investigate, the drone turned away. Why is it leaving? Lyra whispered. She activated the drone camera. It was online. Then she saw something that made her go cold. The drone wasn't leaving. It was monitoring her station, watching her. That's when she knew something was wrong, very wrong. Her own people were hiding something, and now that she had seen the human ship, they were watching her. Lyra quickly copied the signal data onto a small crystal drive and hid it inside her wristband. She didn't trust the system anymore. She didn't trust the station, maybe. Not even her own command. She looked at the human ship one more time. It was still there. Still moving slowly. Not attacking, not speaking, just watching. And then the ship turned. Just slightly. Toward her. Her heart skipped a beat. Suddenly, her screen flickered. The signal grew brighter. And then the radar shut down. Darkness filled the room. Only the emergency red lights glowed, and on her screen, a single message appeared. In old, forgotten letters. One word, hello. Lyra stared at the word, frozen in shock. The myth was real. The human was watching her. And now they were reaching out. The word on the dark screen glowed like fire in her mind. Hello. Lyra couldn't look away. Her hands felt cold. Her breath caught in her throat. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered back on. The radar screen returned to normal, but the strange ship was gone. Vanished. Like a ghost. Only one thing remained, a recorded signal, playing again and again in her headset. Hello. 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 Each repeat made her skin crawl. Was this real, or some trick? She pulled out the crystal drive from her wristband, checking to make sure the data was still there. Yes. Good. She grabbed her cloak and left the control room quickly. The corridors were quiet, too quiet. No other officers, no guards. Not even drones. It was like the entire station was sleeping. But Lyra knew better. Someone had shut the systems down for a reason, and that reason had something to do with that ship. Back in her small room, she locked the door and sat at her private terminal. She plugged in the drive. The strange ship's image appeared again. She scanned it frame by frame. Every line, every angle was exactly like the old books from childhood. But those were myths. Fairy tales, or were they warnings? Her mind spun with memories. Stories whispered in schools, quickly forgotten. Tales of a race called humans who once roamed the stars with unmatched strength and speed. Some said they were wiped out in a great war. Others said they went into hiding. Many believed they never existed at all. But now Lyra had proof. She leaned closer. And saw it. A small symbol on the side of the ship, half hidden in the shadows. 4 letters. UNSF. Her heart raced. United Nations Space Fleet. She typed the letters into the archive system. Nothing. She tried again, this time using her secret login. Finally, something appeared. A single classified file. Red warning lights flashed across the screen. Forbiddance. Do not open. Death penalty. She paused. Then clicked open. What she saw changed everything. The file showed ancient footage. Humans walking on alien worlds. Humans shaking hands with reptilian diplomats. Humans in battle, destroying huge enemy fleets with small, fast ships. And then, silence. The last video was a message. A human man, standing in a burning ship, stared into the camera. We will return one day. Stronger, smarter, and we will remember who betrayed us and who helped us. Then the screen went black. Lyra leaned back, heart thudding. The humans didn't vanish. They left, and now they were back, and they had contacted her. She needed answers. She couldn't trust anyone on this station. She needed to leave. Right now, she opened her locker and pulled out a small, hidden badge, a pilot's license, earned in secret. Only used once. Tonight, she would use it again. Outside the station, the hangar was dark. Security lights were off. The docking bay was strangely open. As if someone wanted her to leave. She entered her small scout ship, slid into the seat, and powered up the engines. No alarms. No stop signals. She launched into the stars. As the station shrank behind her, she looked around the silent sky. Then the signal came again. Beep. Beep. Same coordinates. She turned toward the signal. There it was. Strange ship, but this time it wasn't hiding. It was waiting. Her screen flashed. Incoming message. She accepted. The screen turned white for a moment. Then a face appeared. A human face. Male. Dark, short hair, rough beard, calm eyes, and the smallest smile. He spoke slowly in ancient galactic standard. If you can hear me, don't be afraid. I'm not here to hurt you. Lyra didn't move. The man continued. My name is Aaron. I come in peace. I need help. My ship is damaged. Please, talk to me. Lyra finally found her voice. You're real, she whispered. The man's eyes softened. So are you, he said. Asterisk Lyra stared at the human's face on her screen. But then the screen glitched. Static. Flicker, gone. The image disappeared. Her heart jumped. No, come back. She slammed her hand on the console. The screen blinked again. Static returned. Then something unexpected happened. Not the man's face, not his voice, but his heartbeat. She heard it. Slow, strong, deep like thunder. Thump, thump. It was the sound of life. It echoed in her tiny scout ship like a drum calling from another world. Then his voice returned. Calm, clear. Sorry, my system is old. Too far from Earth now, Lyra whispered. You're really human? The man nodded. Yes, and I think you're the first alien I've spoken to in over 70 years. She blinked. That's not possible. It is when you live alone in space. The screen showed more of him now. He was sitting in a broken chair, sparks behind him. Wires hung from the ceiling. The ship looked like a dying machine held together by hope. Aaron smiled gently. You don't need to be scared, little alien. Lyra straightened. I'm not little. He chuckled. Good, then help me. She checked her location. Her ship was close enough to dock. But this was risky. What if it was a trap? Still, she had already broken the rules. She had already left the station. She had already seen the truth. Backing out now wasn't an option. Lyra tapped her controls, preparing to dock. She said quietly. As her small ship floated toward the massive human vessel, she noticed strange writing on the side. UNSF Emberlight. She wondered what Emberlight meant. Maybe it was the name of the ship, or a forgotten word from Earth. The docking arms locked in with a hiss. Lyra grabbed her breathing mask just in case. Then she stepped into the tunnel. Each step echoed louder than the last. The air inside the human ship was warm. Too warm, and it smelled strange. Like metal. Smoke and something sweet. She reached a door. It slid open. Aaron was there. Tall. Real. Not a screen. Not a story. His eyes were kind but tired. His clothes were patched. One arm had a metal brace. But he stood strong. They looked at each other in silence. Finally he said, You came. She nodded slowly. I had to see you with my own eyes. You believe now? He asked. Lyra nodded again. I do, he smiled. Then I'm not the last myth left. He guided her through the narrow halls of his ship. Lights flickered. The place groaned like an old animal. How long have you lived here? She asked. Too long, he said. My crew is gone. I've been alone for years. Why? He didn't answer for a moment, then said, Because your people helped destroy them. Lyra froze. That's not true. It is, he said gently. Not you, maybe, but your government, your command. They feared us. They betrayed us. We were wiped from the stars. She looked down. I didn't know. Aaron stopped. Now you do. They reached the control room. The window showed stars so wide, so far, that Lyra felt small again. He pointed to a broken panel. My engine is damaged. I can't fly far. I need help fixing it. Lyra hesitated. If I help you, they'll call me a traitor. Aaron looked at her. Then be a traitor. What? He stepped closer. Your people erased us. Lied to you, kept you afraid. But you came here, you saw me. You spoke to me. You know the truth now. He placed a small metal badge in her hand. It was old, scratched. A symbol of Earth. And under it, tiny words, for those who choose truth over fear. Lyra stared at it. She didn't speak. But something inside her heart had already answered. Suddenly, an alarm blared inside her ship. She ran back to her console. A new signal flashed. Her station had sent a patrol ship, and it was coming straight for them. Asterisk, the warning wasn't a sound, it was a feeling. Lyra felt her skin tighten. Her stomach twisted like she had swallowed fire. Then her console screen screamed to life. Incoming SHIPID. Arvona Patrol estimated time, 4 minutes. She stared at it. Her people had found her, and they were coming fast. Behind her, Aaron leaned in. His voice was steady but serious. They'll destroy this ship if they find me. Lyra looked at him, her heart racing. They might destroy me too, Aaron nodded. Then we better not be here when they arrive. Lyra's fingers danced across her control panel. If I undock now, they'll see me. I'm too close. Is your ship faster than theirs? Aaron asked. Yes. If I cut the limiters, then do it. She hesitated. Removing the limiters could burn her engines, but she wasn't ready to die here. Not yet. She pulled a tiny tool from her belt end, opened a hidden panel under her pilot seat. Her hands moved fast, wires sparked, a switch flipped, and her ship hummed louder. The engines roared awake like an angry beast. Done, she whispered. Let's run. Lyra sprinted down the tunnel and leapt back into her scout ship. The docking arms unlocked with a hiss dot as her ship detached from the human vessel. She looked back at Aaron one last time through the screen. He raised a hand. Good luck. She nodded. Then her engines flared, and she disappeared into the stars. Arvona patrol ship appeared seconds later. Lyra saw it on her scanner. Sleek, powerful, bristling with weapons. They sent a message. Scout 742, you are flying without permission. Return to base immediately. She didn't answer. They sent another. This is your final warning. Lyra tightened her jaw. She changed direction, flying low through the asteroid belt that wrapped around the edge of the system, a dangerous place. Even a small mistake could tear her ship apart, but it was her only chance. Behind her, the patrol ship followed. Fast, hungry. Inside her ship, alarms blinked red. Collision alert. Hull pressure rising. Engine heat, critical. But she didn't slow down. A large asteroid passed inches from her window. Another zipped past her wing. One scraped the side of her ship, leaving a burn mark. Still, she pushed forward. Her mind was clear now. She didn't care about punishment. She didn't care about rules. She just wanted to know the truth. Behind her, the patrol ship fired a warning shot. A blue beam passed above her ship, lighting up the cockpit. She gasped but kept flying. Then her ship shuddered, hit by a small blast. Her screen flickered. Oxygen level dropped. Smoke filled the cabin. No, she whispered. Not now. She slammed the side panel, resetting the controls. The engines growled but kept going. Suddenly, her radar blinked. A new signal. It was Aaron's ship. It had followed. She didn't know how. His engine was damaged, but somehow he was here. He sent a message. Get behind me. Lyra didn't think. She obeyed. The human ship passed over her like a shield, taking position between her and the patrol. Then, the impossible happened. Aaron's small, broken ship fired a pulse from its front cannon. The energy blast didn't hit the patrol ship, but it hit a nearby asteroid, breaking it into a cloud of rocks. The cloud flew straight into the path of the Arvona ship, blocking their view. In the confusion, Lyra dove out of the field. Freedom. Inside her ship, she coughed and laughed at the same time. She was alive. She wasn't caught. She had escaped with the help of a myth. She opened the channel. T.O. Aaron, you're crazy, she said. Aaron laughed. I'm human. They met again near a hidden moon. Aaron's ship was smoking. He had pushed it beyond its limits to help her. As they docked again, Lyra stepped inside. Aaron was on the floor, breathing hard. You didn't have to come, she said. He looked up at her. I wanted to come. She stared at him for a moment, then said softly, I believe you now. Lyra had never seen a ship cry, but Aaron's vessel looked like it was doing just that. Black smoke rose from broken vents. A long crack glowed across the wall like a fresh wound. The lights inside flickered weakly, pulsing like a dying heartbeat. Aaron sat slouched against a cold panel, his breathing heavy, one hand clutching his side. Lyra knelt beside him. Why did you follow me? You could have died. Aaron gave a tired smile. That's what humans do. We chase what matters, even if it kills us. She stared at him. No soldier in her army would have risked that. Not for a stranger, not for someone alien. Lyra stood up. Your ship won't last. You need repairs. A lot. I figured, he said, chuckling weakly. But I have no tools. No fuel. No home. Lyra took a deep breath. Then come with me. Aaron looked up. To your station? She shook her head. No, they'll kill us both. She turned to the ship's console. But there's an old mining station nearby. Dead. Abandoned. No one goes there anymore. Maybe we can hide there. Fix things. Think. Aaron nodded slowly. Lead the way. They both squeezed into her small scout ship. Lyra gave one last look at the ember light as it drifted behind them like a ghost ship lost in space. Then she punched the controls, and the stars bent around them as they jumped toward the mining station. Place looked like a graveyard in space. Huge drills floated in silence. Broken machinery drifted through the air. Old warning lights blinked with no purpose. Lyra guided the ship inside through a narrow tunnel. The airlock opened with a groan, and they landed in a dark hangar coated in space dust. Aaron stepped out slowly, wincing. Feels like walking into the bones of a dead beast. Lyra lit a small lamp and looked around. It was shut down after an explosion. Many miners died. My people sealed it and left it to rot. Aaron touched a burned wall. Then it's perfect. They set up a small base in one of the control rooms. Lyra gave Aaron her only medkit. He stitched his side quietly, barely flinching. She watched him. Doesn't that hurt? Of course it does, he said, smiling. But I felt worse. Lyra sat beside him. Outside, the station groaned as metal shifted. Far away, stars shone through shattered glass. For a moment, there was peace. Then Aaron spoke, voice low. You don't have to help me, you know. Lyra looked at him. I want to. He met her eyes. Why? She hesitated. Then said, because you didn't see a soldier or an alien. You saw me. And you still helped. Aaron didn't reply. He just smiled again. This time, softer. Warmer. But peace doesn't last long. In space. Not when enemies are still searching. The moment came during Lyra's sleep. She awoke to the sound of a warning. Beep. Aaron was already at the screen. He pointed. 3 red dots. Fast dash, moving. Heading toward the station. No, Lyra whispered. They tracked us? Aaron's eyes narrowed. Probably followed. My ship's heat trail. How long until they get here? 5 minutes. Lyra grabbed her gear. We can't stay. Aaron stood slowly, limping. And we can't fight. She looked around. There's an old maintenance tunnel beneath the control room. It leads to the other side of the asteroid. Aaron raised an eyebrow. You sure it works? No, she said honestly. But it's the only way. They ran. Down dark stairs, through rusted doors, past broken lights. Each step echoed like footsteps in a tomb. Behind them, the red dots closed in. Lyra pulled open the tunnel gate and climbed in first. It was narrow, filled with dust and old air. Aaron followed, groaning slightly with each step. We better not die in here. He joked. No promises, she replied. Suddenly, a loud boom shook the tunnel. Dust rained from above. Aaron turned back. They're bombing the station, Lyra pushed forward. Faster. We're almost through. They reached the exit hatch. Lyra slammed the button. It didn't open. Aerolights blinked. Aaron stepped forward. Move. He pulled a tool from his belt, twisted 2 wires, and slammed his fist on the panel. His SSS. The door opened. They slipped out just as the tunnel collapsed behind them. They stood in a small cave with a view of space. Far away. They saw fire up from the old mining station. Everything inside. It was lost. Their shelter. Their supplies. Their hope. Gone. Lyra sat down, breathing hard. We're back to nothing. Aaron sat beside her. Not nothing. He touched her shoulder gently. We still have each other. Asterisk. The stars didn't care that they were running. They kept shining, cold and distant, as if nothing had happened. But for Lyra, everything had changed. She had lost her station. She had lost her name. She had chosen to protect a man her people called a myth. Now she and Aaron were floating in an emergency pod. No food, low air, barely holding together. Worse, they were drifting into restricted space. Arvona military territory. Lyra. Check the scanner. We'll be spotted soon. Aaron nodded. We can't run anymore. Then what do we do? He looked at her. And smiled. We surrender. Lyra's eyes widened. Are you crazy? They'll kill you. And me. Aaron leaned back. They might, or they might listen. You really think they'll listen to a human? Aaron's smile faded. No, but they might listen to one of their own. Lyra understood. He meant her. She looked down. Her chest felt tight. She didn't want to lose him. Not now, but she knew he was right. If they kept running, they'd die alone in space. She opened the COMS. Sent out one line. This is Officer Lyra of Arvona. I request surrender. One passenger. One request. Do not fire. The reply came in seconds. Message received. Stay in your pod. Do not move. A large Arvona vessel arrived shortly after. It looked like a silver knife in the dark, silent, cold. Deadly. They were pulled in by tractor beam. Inside the docking bay, masked soldiers surrounded them. Lyra stepped out first. Hands raised. Aaron followed slowly. He was calm, but his eyes never left. Lyra. The soldiers took their weapons. Then one voice spoke from behind a mask. Sharp, familiar. You've made a mess, Lyra. Lyra froze. That voice. She turned. And saw him. Commander Vek. Her former mentor, her teacher, and the one man she once trusted. Vek walked forward, hands behind his back. His eyes studied Aaron like a scientist watching a bug. So, the myth lives. Aaron said nothing. Vek turned to Lyra. You realize what you've done? You brought an enemy into our space. You broke protocol. You betrayed your command. I saw the truth, Lyra replied. You saw lies, Vek snapped. Humans were dangerous. They caused wars. We ended them. No, Lyra said firmly. You erased them. Vek leaned in close. And I'll do it again. He turned to the guards. Take the human to cell 9. Isolate him. Aaron didn't resist. But before they pulled him away, he looked at Lyra and whispered, Don't lose yourself. Then he was gone. Lyra was dragged to a cold steel room. No windows. One chair. One screen. Commander Vek entered, alone. He placed a small metal object on the table. It was Lyra's badge, her pilot license. You were one of our best, he said quietly. Smart, loyal, brave. I still am, she replied. No, he said. You're something else now. He sat across from her. Tell me what the human said. Tell me where the others are. Lyra frowned. There are others. Vek narrowed his eyes. You didn't know? Lyra said nothing. Vek leaned forward. You're in deep now, Lyra. But you still have a choice. She stared at him. What choice? Give us everything. All the data. All the recordings. In return, we'll erase your crime. You'll be safe. We'll even let you live. And Aaron? Vek smiled coldly. He's already dead. Lyra's breath stopped. No. She whispered. Vek stood and turned to leave. Think carefully. We don't need both of you alive. The doors slammed shut. Hours passed. Lyra sat in silence, gripping the table. Her mind burned with fear and guilt, but under it, something else grew. Anger. They didn't just lie. They were still lying. And now, Aaron might die because she trusted the wrong people. She stood up. Her voice was quiet. But steady. I won't let them kill him. Later that night, a young technician entered her room to check the systems. He didn't expect her to move fast. One sharp hit. He dropped. She took his passkey and slipped out. She moved through the halls. Like a shadow, she knew this ship's design. She had trained here. And now she would break it from the inside. The alarms didn't ring when she escaped. The system had been told not to watch her. After all, who would ever expect the traitor to come back for the human? But Lyra wasn't a traitor. She was a believer. And believers don't leave others behind. Her boots made no sound on the metal floor. She moved like a ghost. Her stolen passkey opening doors one after another. Every step brought her closer to Cell 9. Every second counted. She reached the security chamber. Only one guard stood. Their asleep. One silent strike. He dropped. She entered the cell and stopped. Aaron sat inside, bruised but smiling. As if he already knew she would come. You're late, he said softly. Lyra opened the door. I got lost in betrayal and lies, he chuckled. Happens. She grabbed his arm. Can you walk? With you, always. They didn't have long. Lyra led him through the hidden access shaft she used as a cadet. It was dusty, narrow and forgotten. Perfect for ghosts. They reached the lower hangar. One old ship sat there, covered in dust. A training model, half-fueled, half dead, but maybe just enough. Lyra jumped in the pilot seat. Aaron climbed beside her. The engine coughed, then roared. Doors opened. Too loud. Too late. The alarms began to scream. Red lights flashed. Chasing boots thundered behind them. Lyra pushed the thrusters. The ship lifted. Soldiers entered the hangar. Guns ready. Shots fired. Glass shattered. Panels sparked. But the ship flew fast and furious straight into the stars. In open space. Lyra checked the scanners. They're coming after us. Aaron looked ahead. We won't outrun them, she nodded. Then we'll outsmart them. They entered a dead zone. Old debris fields from a past war. Dangerous, sharp, blind. Perfect for escape. Lyra swerved. Between broken ships and floating junk, the patrol ships followed, but slower, careful, too careful. Aaron pointed. There. That wreck. Hide behind it. She spun the ship fast, slipping into the dark shadow of a destroyed cruiser. She cut the engine. Silence. Breath held. No movement. The Arvona ships passed right by. Gone. Minutes later, the stars returned. They floated in peace. Lyra smiled. We did it. Aaron leaned back. That's twice now you've saved me. You started it, she said. When you called me little alien, he laughed. Still true. She rolled her eyes. Shut up, human. Then the scanner blinked. A signal. Weak. Old. Human. Aaron leaned forward. That's not from me. Lyra looked at him. What? Is it? Aaron's voice changed. It was filled with awe, and something like hope. It's them. Who? He looked at her with a wide smile. The others, the survivors. The last of Earth. She stared at the screen. A fleet. Small. Hidden. Waiting. Living in the dark. Just like the myth said. But not dead. Not lost. Still. Human. Still here. Lyra sent a ping. The fleet answered. A voice came through. Rough. Tired. But full of fire. Identify yourself. Aaron replied. Aaron Voss, survivor. I've brought someone with me. Alien? Yes, but she's family now. There was silence. Then. Coordinates received. Welcome home. The ship turned toward a future not built on lies, but truth. Trust. And maybe even love. For the first time in her life, Lyra didn't feel like part of a system. She felt like part of something real, and as the stars opened before her, she smiled.